Ha! Good morning. Good morning from Tackleberries, Texas. Rupert Ellis, English, but now a Texan. We talk about guns on a regular basis, as you probably know. We talk about guns, we talk about optics, we talk about our clothing, our shop, and all the good things that we try and do. But very rarely do we talk about cutlery. Not talking about knives and forks and spoons that we eat our dinner with. I'm talking about edged weapons and tools and knives that we use either in the field for routinely daily jobs, for hunting and so on. So today I wanted to quickly talk to you about something that's a bit close to my heart, really. A few things, really, because there's a couple of things that's come up just recently that I wanted to just kind of vent over, because you know I'm a bit of a ranty bastard. So, the Gurkhas. I wanted to talk to you today about something that's a bit special, and that is today we're going to be talking about knives and stuff later. This is probably going to be the first of a couple of videos, and I wanted to show you this fantastic weapon, this fantastic tool that hails from Nepal and is the fabled cookery knife that our brave Gurkha regiments carry. It's used as a farming tool in Nepal, where it's used for cutting, slicing, and as a chopping weapon. And also our brave Gurkhas, they get issued two of these, a service number 1 and a service number 2, one for ceremonial duties and one actually for the field. Now, I'm not going to talk to you about what the Gurkhas are all about, who they are and how brave they are. Suffice to say that my uncle served with the Gurkha regiments during the Second World War, and these are people who, they're diminutive, they're kind of short little guys, they look like little Asian kind of brown people, but holy hell, they've got hearts as big as the Himalayas themselves, and they are as brave as you could possibly want to get involved with. So the cookery, it's an interesting tool, isn't it? It is an interesting tool, the stuff of legend, and I'm not going to get involved with what the legends and so on are, but when we're talking about cutlery and we're talking about knives in general, it's probably a good idea to have a clear idea in your mind what you're going to be using your edged weapon or knife for. So if you're a fisherman, it may well be that the knife that you use has to be appropriate for gutting, skinning, scaling and so on. If you're a hunter, it may well be that skinning and boning meat would be the task that you're going to be using it for. And if you're going into the field after long pig or some of our kind of a two-legged quarry, then you're going to be looking for a different series of properties and values from your blade. Think about our Fairbairn Sykes fighting knife from the Second World War that our S.A.S. and guys carried, and that our Royal Marine Commandos are issued with. I'm going to talk to you about the S.A.S. in just a second. Firstly, though, Gurkhas. Love this knife, so much so that, hey, take a look. And there's a few of you out there, and I'm thinking about up in the Scandinavia, I'm thinking about Dell as well, who have some cookeries which I had made in Nepal for my hunting business. And as you can see, this is a significant item that's made from the leaf springs of Jeeps and Land Rovers and that kind of good thing. And it's designed to do a number of things. And oh boy does it do them as well. This is my own personal one. In fact, I have a few. I had a huge cookery collection in the UK, and unfortunately when I left Blighty to go and move to Texas, a whole lot of my knives had to be sold. Not this one though, not going to tell you why I've got it, but suffice to say, Sammy, I love you, man. It's been too long since I've seen you, and please, 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 can you give my very best regards to your father? Mal is a great guy. Sammy is a serving Gurkha. His father was a Gurkha before him. His grandfather was a Gurkha who served in the First and Second World Wars. And the fact that I have this ceremonial presentation cookery, it came to Texas with me. I won't be parted from this one. So it's an interesting tool, and it's a tool for a particular job. And when I talk to you about hunting knives in a short while's time, we're going to be talking about fitness for the purpose. However, in the meantime, let me just talk to you about heroes. The Gurkha Welfare Trust takes care of our Gurkha veterans and their families, and they're at Gurkha Welfare Trust is gwc.org.uk. The way that we treat our veterans in the UK really doesn't seem to be any better than the way that they're treated in the US. And I was talking to a Gulf War vet the other day who's been homeless for 18 years, who told me his story, and it was a pretty damn sad one. This morning I found out about another of our tank regiment guys who froze to death on the 17th of December in the UK, having been homeless for a period of time. And today I found out that Herefordshire Council Herefordshire, and I had officers in Ross-on-Wye in Herefordshire that had refused to grant a home for one of our S.A.S. troopers who was actually involved in the relief of the Iran embassy siege in 1980. 38 years later, this man is living on the streets because the council, doesn't want to home him. It's not acceptable on any level, guys. It really isn't. And if there's one thing that's going to get me on a plane to come back to England, it's crap like that, I promise you. So, this is the first one of two. Knives. I wanted to talk to you about knives today, but more importantly, I just wanted to reach out and say, hey, we have a whole load of brave boys and girls out there who deserve a little bit better than perhaps they've got when they leave the service. We're not debriefing our guys properly, and we're certainly not rehabilitating them for life in Civvy Street. So, if that's you, I feel for you. You know, there's a whole lot of us that really appreciate what you've done. That's my kind of talk about the Gurkhas and our Special Air Service troopers, kind of vented for the day, and I'm going to come talk to you about fitness for the purpose of hunting knives later. In the meantime, though, Tackle Breeze is open today. Good morning. It's cold here. It's cold as charity. But charity begins at home, and it starts here in the heart. Think about that today when it's really cold. Because when you woke up this morning, if you weren't in a cardboard box village wrapped up in old blankets, then you started the day better than a whole load of our brave veterans. I love you guys, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon with something a bit more positive, eh?